Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk with Renisha. I'm Renisha. This is a podcast that helps to inspire, encourage, and empower you as I talk with real people about real issues on their journey. So, of course, today I have another amazing guest. You guys already know all of my guests are amazing. I have another amazing guest. She hails all the way from New York, New York. She is an entrepreneur. She is the founder and owner of Morning Dew Therapy, where she is a licensed professional counselor. She's also a seller on Good Words Therapy. Please welcome to the studio, Miss Jessica Davis. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So definitely quite a couple of things in here that I want to dive in. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about your work as being a seller on Good Words Therapy. And also, you're one of those people that I've known for, again, some time. We actually, Jessica and I actually interned together. We did our clinicals at a psychiatric ward many years ago. That's where we met. I know it seemed like it's been forever, right?
Mhm.
Kind of has. And that's where our journey began as friends and colleagues. So I basically jumped right into private practice right after school. And Jessica, like many of my other colleagues, took that time to go into an actual facility. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what that was like for her leaving that facility and jumping into her own private practice. So with that said, Jessica, before we even get there, tell us a little bit about your practice. Like, what are your specialties? What age group or population do you work with?
Okay. Well, I would say, and sometimes I'm like the word specialized. I'll say I believe I do my best work with clients that are experiencing anxiety, depression, transitions in their lives. I really enjoy young professionals that are kind of exploring what careers they want to go into, or navigating relationships, or they've relocated. That's where I think I do my best work, or the population I believe I do my best work with.
Absolutely. And I agree with you, sis. I feel like I'm on that same spectrum. I love working with my clients who have depression and anxiety, but I feel like my passion is with relationships. My passion is dealing with young people who are going through that life transition.
Yeah.
So yes, I love working with those populations too, but there's something about working with those younger people and people who are going through issues in their relationship,
Mhm.
just like I just feel amazing just working with them,
Yes,
for whatever reason that is, right? Because I'm like, why do we choose the specialty that we do? I don't know. It has to be something that's coming from the inside, I feel. What do you
absolutely. And I think in those moments where we feel like, okay, this is the client that I was kind of like made to work with, that's when we
think?
feel the most effective. And that's where we feel
Yes.
like, okay, this is why I do this job. This is what I was created to do, you know?
Excellent. You know, the terminology, your ideal client is the client that mirrors you.
Yes.
Yes. And I found that to be true over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. It's like they're telling me my story,
A lot
you
of the
know?
times, yes, a lot of the times it's true because you have your own experience, maybe with some of the things that they're facing.
Yes, yes, I find that to be absolutely true. And then I feel like I'm able to be more engaged and
Yeah,
be able to, if they want advice, be able to give them like real life advice that I myself may have taken way back when I was their age.
sure.
So yeah, okay,
I
great.
think
So go ahead.
we can be more of ourselves.
Absolutely. And there's nothing more than a therapist being herself, her authentic self in the room with her client or, who, or his client
Yeah,
who's also trying to be their authentic self.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I think that's like so important for their therapeutic relationship. You have to be genuine because clients can see right through it, right?
absolutely. I always say I will never give advice to a client that I myself would not take.
Right. Hmm.
Does it make sense? Does it make
Absolutely.
sense? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start your own private practice. Because, like I said, you were in a typical 9 to 5 facility. and then you made that switch. And I know that it takes a lot to go from a predictable 9 to 5 to, oh my God, am I going to have a client?
Yes.
How did
Yeah.
that feel for you, and what inspired you to make that leap?
Well, I think that, I had been working at a community health center for 6 years. And I think at some point, the point, where I left, which was about a year ago, I was starting to experience some burnout. And I thought, oh my goodness, like, can I continue, doing this at this rate, in this context? And then I was seeing, some of my friends, their one, work-life balance, but two, their just a little bit more happiness, I guess, and satisfaction in their jobs being or working outside of that agency setting. So that was kind of the impetus that made me say, okay, now I need to start taking steps, which I began taking steps to open or have a private practice in 2020. But I had to set myself up for a while. So what I did, I continued working my job,
Mhm.
and then I started doing contract work for a telehealth company. And then I started taking on clients also in 2021. So by the time I left, I had been working like three different jobs, but I did that in order to save money. You have to prepare. You can't just pick up and leave your job, right? So I was trying to prepare financially so that I could leave and then give myself time to build up a caseload or figure out maybe there was another avenue that I wanted to go into in terms of working as a licensed professional counselor. So that was kind of how I ended up here.
Interesting, because I know it's hard, because I know for myself, I pretty much just, left once I got my hours in. I pretty much like, okay, I just want to do this on my own. So I
Mhm.
never really had that facility structure per se. And then it's like, okay, this is too much. I can't deal with this. But I think just doing the internships, just doing the practicums, just working to get that license, I realized, oh no, way too much.
Yes. Well, I would say, that it was definitely a valuable time for me professionally because I was exposed to so many different types of clients with the various diagnoses. So I saw a lot. I think I definitely grew as a therapist because I learned to recognize different symptoms and patterns and diagnoses and work with such a variety of clients. I think that it was definitely a valuable time for me. And then when I started to see like, hey, it's becoming more difficult for me to like go to work and feel like I'm making a difference, all of that, then I knew, okay, it's time for me to make a change. My coworkers were awesome, though I always loved my coworkers. The job has absolute merits, right? But I would say if, you find that, okay, I think this is starting to take a toll on my own mental health, that's when a change is necessary. Do it for as long as you can, right? And then when you feel like, okay, this is I've done, all I can do here, then you move on. And that's with a lot of things in life, right? Not just
Absolutely. You're
your
right.
career.
Right. But as you say, I feel like most of my colleagues that I am aware of that works in any type of facility, stress is such a huge factor for them, and it
Yeah,
continues to be.
yeah.
And the work is great, it's great work with our colleagues, but the caseload, trying to
Oh,
manage that caseload every week
yeah.
becomes impossible.
It isn't that's part of it, right? It does feel like an impossible job because you do have so many clients. I could have over 80, 85 clients on my caseload that I'm trying to keep track of.
Wow.
And that is impossible, between progress notes and treatment plans and calling if you miss an appointment and calling, probation officers or calling this person, calling that person, filling out this paperwork. It does feel impossible. So there's like, I think that definitely is a part of it too. You will have a high caseload and it will feel potentially in a lot of ways like this is impossible. So you do your absolute best,
Yeah,
right? Knowing that you can't do everything, but you do want to show up as your best self,
correct.
right? In sessions with clients.
But it just takes away from the natural essence of being a therapist, because we're in this field because we want to help people. And then when you're boggled down with all the paperwork and the bureaucracy and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
you end up spending so much less time with clients and so much more time dealing with that stuff that it really,
Mhm.
I want to say, messes with your mental health in the sense that, am I really making a difference? Because I
Yeah,
spent 5 hours, 6 hours today just doing paperwork and
yeah.
documenting and making phone calls and sending emails, and literally maybe 2 hours with patients.
Well, I mean, the thing about, working at an agency, you have productivity expectations. So you don't really have the option to say, I'm going to spend 5 hours today doing paperwork. No, you're going to see the clients and then you're going to get the paperwork done, maybe potentially in your own time. Or, so you don't actually have that luxury to say, I'm going to spend all this time, doing this paperwork. No, you're probably not doing that during the day while you're at work. You may not be.
It's hard. It's hard. So now that you're in private practice and life is so much easier, right? You make your
Mhm.
own hours, you see the amount of client that you want to see.
Yes.
It's beautiful because you are now in control. Now,
Yes.
everything that you have known, but still just getting to this point, 'cause I
Okay.
did a lot of research, but
Okay.
getting where you are right now, if you had known what you know now in private practice, would you have still made that jump? Because there it can be difficult talking about insurance companies and
Yeah.
panels and setting that stuff up and then having to deal with the state and licensures and all that
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
behind the scenes, right? Would
Yeah.
you have still made that decision to take that
Absolutely.
plunge?
I would have because I think that, there is a level of freedom and independence in private practice as long as you're willing and want to and recognize that you will have to deal with insurance, right? You will have to deal with all your licensure stuff. You will have to do, or find clients independently. You won't just have a flow of clients that are assigned to you, right? You have to do the marketing part, right? Which maybe you didn't have to do that if you work, at an agency. So I still would have made the move knowing what I know now. I still think it was a healthy decision, you know,
Yeah.
and I do realize that a lot of people like it's scary. I hesitated for a many, many years, even though friends, colleagues were encouraging me to, make the change. I was just like, I don't know if I could do it. Do I want to deal with that? I don't want to deal with that. But you
Yes.
learn to adapt. It's I learn new things continuously about, being in private practice. And it's just another thing that you learn, right?
Yes.
Like in terms of paperwork, for example, like I remember reaching out to you, to other colleagues, like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, how should I format my like documents or like my, what would be like consent for treatment or how should I format and starting from scratch, and feeling that was overwhelming,
Yes.
but that's something that I just had to push through and had to write out my documents and format them and all of that. So I did that, with the support of colleagues,
So,
and that's one of the reasons that I started Good Words Therapy on
mhm,
Etsy. So it's an Etsy shop. I did that because I remember
mhm.
going through having to figure out, how to format these documents, what information needs to be included and everything starting in private practice. So I wanted to, you know, offer some tools for therapists that may be in the same position. It's a small shop. I think I have 5 digital documents there, but it's a start. I mean, I'll say the most popular item that I have is my super bill. You know,
Okay.
the super bill was, it took me a while to make it, but the super bill, everyone's like, what information does it have to include? Billing codes, like should it look like? That's the one that has sold the most.
Yes.
Um,
So I know we're talking like foreign language, like
yes,
normal regular
billing,
people.
how you
We're
get your
talking
money.
about a psychobabble. But
Yes,
what Jessica is talking about is that, we have a lot of paperwork too. Even though we are in private practice, it's definitely different from the facilities. And she's talking about super bills. These are like billing statements that we have to send to our insurance company
yeah,
or give to clients
yeah,
that they can get reimbursed. And we have forms like anyone who has been in therapy, they know we have consent forms, we have treatment forms, we have tons of forms that you guys need to fill out before we actually can see you. And
Mhm.
it is difficult when you're just starting out to even know how to write any of these forms. So she's saying she already has Good Works Therapy on Etsy, that she sells forms that she has already written and made. I mean, that wasn't available when I was becoming a therapist in private practice. I wish I had someone to say, hey, here's a handful of 6 forms that you're going to need to give
Yes,
your
yeah,
clients. I wish I had kind of guidance. So you just having that already available for clients, for clinicians who are coming in,
mhm,
it's amazing. Very good. It's a great start. Right?
yes,
It can be overwhelming because there is a lot to do and you're doing these things on your own. So just having any information that's already readily available is a huge start for us starting
yeah, absolutely.
it sure is. But again, just talking about taking the plunge, I've had clients who have wanted to quit their jobs because of the work-life balance, because of being stressed, because of being overwhelmed, because of the being burdened. And burnout is such a real thing right now. But just taking that step and that leap. And I've had clients who have literally have quit their jobs
Yeah,
and had no job.
yeah,
That's how bad it was,
yeah,
for them. But just taking that step and just taking that plunge, it's not easy. It's very difficult because we have to pay our bills, right? Bills have to get paid. We have the car notes. Some people have mortgages, rent.
mhm,
Things have to get paid. And to just think of, oh my God, I don't have a job. Where's my income going to come from? It can be
right.
very, very defeating for a lot of people.
And
So
then you may
I
have
applaud
people
you.
telling you, "Don't do it,"
I'm
right?
sorry.
I said, you may have people telling you, "Oh, don't do that because you have this, you have that, you have this, you have that," right?
Correct. Correct. But you know what I like, and I like about what you said? This is something that you've wanted to do. You knew that this was taking a toll on your mental health. And at the end of the day, and your physical health as well. Because whatever happens to your mental health, it was also going to affect you physically as well. And
Mhm,
you knew this was too much
mhm,
at your old job. It's too much. Now it's affecting my mental health. Now I have no life. Now I have no work-life balance. I'm
mhm,
always stressed. I'm burned out. The
mhm.
2-day weekend don't work anymore. We need 6 days to recover from a week worth of work.
Listen, I would wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, like, "What happened to that client?" Like,
Wow. Yes. And that's for real. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And we have to know when it's our limit. That's what
yeah,
I'm trying to say.
yes.
We have to know our own limit because at the end of the day, is it worth it?
I think no amount of money is worth your mental health or your physical health. It's not worth it,
Dang it.
right?
Yes. 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 And a lot of people think that, yeah, I'm making a lot of money and it's great, but you're stressed out, you're burned
Mhm,
out, your family don't see you, you're
mhm,
irritable, you're
mhm.
nasty half the time because you're tired.
Right.
You're not fun to be around.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you have no work-life balance. It's sad, but one of my things is the American model of work. 40 hours is just like mediocre work week for us.
Mhm,
Most of us work 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and that's like
mhm,
standard.
mhm.
And it's like, no, it's not. When do you have time
Right,
to you? Which goes
right.
into our next question, because I know you are, like me, a very strong advocate for self-care.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about, you said, professionals taking that time to enjoy and carve out time pretty much for self-care.
Absolutely.
Talk a
I
little
would
bit
say,
more.
if you are in helping profession, right, there's always going to be someone you can help, right? That's at work, that's in your life, but so
Yes.
you have to actually take the time. So for me, like I enjoy exercise. So I may go to the gym, I may go hiking, I may want to stay home and not talk to anyone, like that's something that, I do. Sometimes it looks like, oh, someone's calling, like I can't talk to them right now. you know, having those sorts of boundaries, right? To protect your own mental health and for you to recharge and to refuel. Because I think that as helpers, we're always willing to like inconvenience ourselves or put ourselves out in order to help someone else. But that's great. That's noble, but not to the point where you're draining yourself, where there you have nothing left. That's not healthy.
Agreed. And again, this is one of the conversations that I have a lot with clients.
Hmm.
Not having the boundaries, not knowing how and when to take time for themselves.
Hmm.
And it's a big deal. And when they do find some time that they decide to carve out, they're feeling guilty. Because
Right.
somewhere in our upbringing, we were told that if we're not busy, then we're lazy.
Right. That's very true.
It's such a misconception. I say, did
Yeah.
you not work like 10 hours today? So why the hour that you take to just watch a mindless TV show
Mm.
makes you feel so guilty?
Right.
What is that?
Yeah. And I think, we live in the hustle culture, right? So you should always, right? Always be active or trying to make money or trying this or trying that. The idea of
Yeah,
sometimes you do want to relax and sit on your couch and watch TV is oh no, we can't do that.
we feel guilty. We feel guilty. But I always compare the American culture to the European model of
Hmm.
work. Italy shuts down for lunch. People are complaining. They eat lunch at their computers.
Hmm.
They don't take a lunch break. They get it, but they don't take it. They don't go outside.
I used to do that.
There you go. Yeah,
It's
it's
too much
real.
to do. You can't get up and, you
But
know,
it becomes the norm. Because once you
very-
set that standard for yourself, then that becomes the norm. So
yeah.
every day now I'm eating lunch at my computer. I don't
Hmm.
have time to go outside.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, they've given you, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour to eat lunch.
Hmm.
We don't take it.
Hmm.
We work through it. And we stay late in the evening as well. It's not like we're working
Hmm.
through lunch to leave early. We're taking lunch and we're still going to stay late anyway.
Or you're gonna go home and break out the computer and
Exactly.
because you're trying to catch up, right? You're trying to like make sure, that tomorrow I'm not like
It never ends. It
hmm.
literally never ends. But I like what you said. You have to take time. So for a while, I used to say, make time. But I realized, like you said, the work never ends.
Hmm.
I will never be able to make time for self-care or other things that I want to do in my life.
Yeah,
I literally have to take it.
absolutely.
Take it. I can never do it. You just don't have 24 is just not enough for us. We need
Hmm.
more. And then
Hmm.
more after that. So I
Hmm.
have to take it.
That's
And
right.
who like to exercise, you got to take that time.
Absolutely. Before anything else, when I was working at the agency, I would get up really early in the morning to get to the gym by 5:15 before I went to work because I knew this is my time and I need to do this for myself and nobody else
Yes.
before I go and give my energy to other people.
5:15, I applaud you. I applaud you. I say that, but my last guest that I interviewed, he gets up at 3:40 a.m. every day to do what he needs to do for himself. And
Wow.
again, my hat goes off both of you because I'm not a morning person. So, oh my gosh, just to think about it. But it's like, if that's what you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, then
Hmm.
that's what you have to do
Hmm.
because it's you first,
That's right.
me first. I gotta take care of me so I can take care of everybody else
That's
as well.
right.
And I
That's
think
right.
that concept gets lost.
Hmm.
Let me take care of everyone else, and whatever time is left over, I'll use it for myself. But then what happens? No time gets left over.
That's right. That's right. It's all gone.
So that means today I didn't get to me. So maybe tomorrow I'll get to me.
Hmm.
That same
But
concept
that doesn't
again
happen.
doesn't happen. So you literally have to take the time. And I'm talking to even like, I said professionals healthcare professionals, working professionals. I'm talking about moms.
Absolutely.
Moms. I feel bad for moms who can't go to the bathroom with the kid on their leg. I feel so sorry for moms.
Yeah.
So I know it's true, they don't have a minute to themselves, until they put the baby down to sleep. And it becomes even more critical for them to take care of themselves.
Yes. Yes.
The baby is dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So love that we're talking about self-care, because I'm going to go right into it, because one of my questions I ask everybody is, what does self-care look like for you? And I know you said exercising. What else do you like to do? Whether it's throughout the week or throughout the day, that you're making sure you're taking care of yourself.
Well, I think that, my faith is really important. So prayer is important. Some people like to meditate, right? Some people go and they take a yoga class if that's what they need. Music, is really, really important for a lot of people too. Sometimes it's a deep breathing exercise, right? Those are all things that are part of taking care. Those things that help us to feel grounded,
Yes.
and like things aren't getting away from us, or help us to feel like, okay, I'm ready for whatever the day may bring,
Yes, yes, yes.
sometimes, people like cooking. Like I always say, chopping vegetables, I'm like, this is therapeutic. I don't know, I just think it's therapeutic because it can be very, like, it's repetitive, right?
Yes.
Kind of like crochet, kind of do
Yes.
it and not have to like focus too much. I know that's funny. Or I know someone that washing dishes is therapeutic.
Yes, I like washing dishes. I actually do. I don't have a dishwasher. I don't mind a sink full of dishes for me to wash.
Oh, really? Okay. See,
For
for
some
you, it's
reason,
washing the dishes.
absolutely. Cleaning too. Cleaning
Yes.
too, for me, is very therapeutic.
Right.
I love cleaning up and be in a clean space, because I feel like that also makes me feel good when I'm
Yes.
working in a clean surrounding.
That's
So I love,
important for mental health, right? They've done studies that clutter and all of that really can trigger anxiety and all of that. So cleanliness is absolutely, absolutely important. And what do we say to clients that maybe are dealing with depression and are not taking care of themselves? Like shower, right? If you clean up, you might feel a little bit better, right? Those sorts of things are so, so important.
the simple things. It always comes back to these very simple, basic things. I always say that. And you
Mhm,
don't have to go out there and spend a whole lot of money to do self-care and
mhm,
take care of yourself. You don't have to. If you want to, that's fine. Hey,
mhm.
I love traveling too. That's expensive. That's part of my self-care.
That's
But I don't
right.
do it every day, right? I
That's
can't,
right.
right? So it's the simple things, the very, very, very simplistic things. Go for a walk.
Mhm,
Day like today, the sun is out. It's a little bit cool, but
that's
the sun
right.
is out. It's gorgeous. It's the fall. Fall in New York is absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
It's the simplest things. That's something that a lot of us take for granted.
Yeah.
But again, is finding that time to tell yourself, hey, I'm going to take 20 minutes to go to the park today or go for a walk today. That's what
There's something that I say to my clients because oftentimes we may say, yes, like I'll use what you said. I'm gonna go for a walk. Sometimes we have the tendency to say, oh, I should go for a walk. I should do this. I should do that. But those are all should sound like an obligation. And then if we don't do it, we feel like shame for it. So I tell my clients, why don't we change that to could, right? Because could is more of an opportunity. Like, oh, I could go for a walk. Well, it's an opportunity, right? Not an obligation. If we see things as an opportunity or opportunities, maybe we're more likely to engage in those things.
Yes. I like to put things, I'm a to-do list writer.
Okay.
So I have to put things on my to-do list, and I get satisfaction crossing out the
Hmm.
things that I've done. For something I put that line through, I just feel like, yes, accomplished one thing on the list. I'm good.
Yes.
So even, taking some time out and going for a walk or going for a run, on my
Yeah.
to-do list. It's on my to-do list for the day, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's I take ownership of it. Once it's on that
Yeah.
list, I take ownership of it. And you said something very important. If we said I should and you don't do it, then you feel bad about yourself. We don't
Mhm.
want anyone feeling bad. Again,
Mhm.
some things that we shouldn't feel bad about. And just know that you don't have to beat yourself up if you haven't done what you said you wanted to do.
Yes.
We don't have to do that. And put
Yes.
that, I feel bad, I feel guilty, that I didn't do that today. Okay. Tomorrow, let's start fresh the next day. Every day is a new day to start over.
Yes. Mhm.
Absolutely. So there's no need to beat ourselves up if we haven't done it. But
That's
we
right.
have to make that conscious effort to do things.
Mhm.
The only way things are going to get done.
I think, a lot of times completing task or doing things or choices, we say, okay, I'm going to do such and such.
Mhm.
When we add the maybe in there, possibly, then we leave the door open to not do things. We make a choice. No, I'm going to do this, right? Our self-talk, how we say things to ourselves, absolutely matter.
Yes, yes. We have to make it, yes, I'm going to be doing this today. Because we don't want any room for
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
when you have a long tired day, it's very easy to say, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I don't want to go out today. And then we don't.
Mhm.
And then we don't. We really don't. So I like that. We should definitely make it an obligation. But again, self-care should be something that we're all doing. The health
Yeah,
professionals, the business professionals, the moms,
absolutely.
everyone
Everyone.
engaging in some kind of self-care and taking care of themselves. And there's definitely a big push for that right now because again, the burnout rate has been so high,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know. The pandemic, with all of the misery it brought for us, a lot of people had to use it as an opportunity to slow down. It
Yes.
slowed us down as well.
Mhm.
Slowed us down as well, myself included, definitely slowed me down as well. I had
Mhm.
time to process and think, oh my gosh.
Yes.
So definitely self-care is huge and something that we have to do every day. Because we gotta put ourselves first. We gotta take care of us before we
Mhm.
can take care of anybody else.
And it's not selfish. I think that there are a lot of people that view self-care as selfish, and it's not. That's probably the most selfless thing you can do, right? So that you're present with other people. Like I took time for me, so now I have space for you in my life. Like I have space. I made space for you because I took time for me.
Yes, but and I'm glad you said that because a lot of people think if I'm not doing something for others and I'm doing something for myself, that
Mm,
makes me selfish. We grew up with
mm,
that mentality. I'm
mhm,
Caribbean, so I knew we grew up with that mentality. You don't
mhm,
do anything for yourself. You don't talk good about yourself. You just
mm,
don't do those things. It makes you a selfish person. So
mm.
you do for everyone else, and then again, whatever is left over
That's for
next
you.
time it's for you instead of the other way around.
Mhm,
Taking
mhm.
care of yourself first, and then the rest of the day, the rest of your time is to help other people or
Other people.
or just do your job.
Right,
Just do your job. But
right.
interesting again, I don't know if you saw the podcast I did a couple of weeks ago with one of my guests. She's a pleasure coach.
Oh,
Never
okay.
heard it. It was such an amazing interview. And one of the things we talked about was people don't know how to find pleasure for themselves,
Mm,
don't
mm,
know what that is like.
mhm.
And it's mind baffling to me. It's like, how do you not know what even brings you pleasure?
Right. So they basically live for other people, right? Mm,
Completely live for other people. And of course, we know we're getting burnt out. We know that there are no boundaries, and then we're complaining.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Complain.
Mhm.
But you're not taking care of you. You're not doing anything for you. So if you're gonna give someone your time, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take it because
Right.
everybody needs more time. They'll take it. You're
That's
gonna be
very
depleted, and then what?
right.
You're miserable.
That's
But
very true.
it's true. But this notion of taking time for myself, enjoying life, it's like a strange concept. And I'm like,
It is.
what? Why is that so strange? It shouldn't be, but it seems like it's a strange concept for a lot of people.
I think that maybe, the mindset might be is, oh, I have to earn it. But then my question to that would be like, how do you earn time to enjoy? How do you earn it? Like, how do you measure that? Like, oh, now I've earned it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. How do you not want to enjoy your life? That's the
Mhm.
question.
Well, I also think that we as humans just strive for different things. Maybe it's money, right? Maybe it's power, recognition.
Mhm,
So we
mhm.
strive for those things, like pushing, am I enjoying life aside, right?
At the end of the day, is it worth it? It has to be, is it worth it? Am I happy at the end of the day?
Right.
I'm making a ton of money. I do nothing for myself. I'm always tired. I'm miserable. My bank account is fat. Okay. That doesn't make me happy though,
Right.
does it? Everyone else around you is living their lives, going on vacations, going out, hanging out,
Yeah.
doing things, biking, hiking, jogging,
Yes.
and you're how
Eating good food.
absolutely it's part of self-care, absolutely. And you're just, working and complaining because you're miserable, you're
Yeah.
tired. Again, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting topic to me, you know. So I know you just started your private practice, but what's next for you? What do you feel is next for you on
Oh
this
my
journey?
goodness, what's next? I'm not sure. I know that I will continue in private practice, but I wonder if there is trying to think where else might I want to go professionally. Like I don't know. I think that nowadays there are so many opportunities for therapists. Like therapists become authors or speakers or
Yes,
trainers, and I haven't explored those areas of practice yet, but I'll have to do some exploring, to see where I want to go.
absolutely. And you're right. There's so many areas to go into. A lot of us are authors, we're writing books, we're coaches, we're doing things outside of, the whole quote unquote straight therapy.
Yeah. Yes.
There's so much that we can vary into as a
But you
therapist.
know what I would say too? I think that it would be interesting because there are a lot of times like people have one profession and then they do something else that has nothing to do with the profession. That
Absolutely.
might be really cool too. Right. And I think
Absolutely.
that's healthy, having something that's so far away, right, from what you actually do on a day to day basis, I think is a way to maintain balance too.
Absolutely. And again, being in private practice means that you have time
Yes, more
to
time, right?
explore
Hmm.
other avenues, whether it's for income or whether it's for fun or whether it's to
Yes,
give back. I love to give back.
yes.
You have the time to actually research that.
Hmm.
So that's
That's
that's the
very
that's the
true.
blessing of being in private practice. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's really, really true because during the time I was working for the agency,
Mhm.
I didn't really feel like I had time to like work
Mhm.
on things outside of the agency or explore different topics or areas just in life in general. And I definitely have had more time to do that being in private practice. And I would say my level of stress is definitely significantly less. It's just a different feeling. I think that the stressors, yes, they come and go, but I don't feel like I have the constant level of stress working in an agency. But I will say again, it absolutely has merit, right? It helped me to grow in a lot of different ways professionally and as a therapist. But I knew that, okay, my time here is done, right? And then I was able to move on. And I think that, with time, I can diversify my experiences professionally. So I've done working in an agency. Now I'm in private practice, right? So then I can explore other areas in the future.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go a whole sidetrack with all of this
Okay.
because we're both clinicians of color, right? And I keep hearing from clients, oh my gosh, it's so hard to find a clinician of color. Oh my gosh. And a couple of months ago, actually, I had a guest who's a male clinician of color. Like, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, you are so rare. I
Uh-huh.
gotta have you as a referral because you are rare, rare, rare.
Yes.
How has you find that to be with clients? Is it a blessing for you? Is it something that you hear a lot of clients saying it's so hard to find a good clinician of color? I'm so glad I found you. How has that been for you in this particular field?
I haven't necessarily, like speaking just in private
Mm.
practice, I haven't really had clients say that. Um, but yes, most of my clients in private practice have been particularly women of color.
Yeah.
And then working for the agency, just because the area was in, almost all of my clients were of color, or Latino, or, of color covers that, but, they were almost exclusively clients of color. So yeah, I haven't heard that, but I can imagine that's true. What I have heard is,
Mhm.
a lot of times clients say, "Oh, I contact therapists, and I don't know, I didn't hear back." And I think that there are,
Yeah.
because of COVID and just the need, I think, and the focus on mental health has
Mhm.
increased so much that there are, private practice therapists that are overwhelmed with referrals.
Yes.
Um, but I don't think that means you don't like return the phone call. But I think that there are a lot of people that are overwhelmed with referrals in that regard.
Absolutely. And I have heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were the only one that called me back. I'm like, really?
Right. Yes.
It's shocking to me.
Right.
Yeah, it just depends on our loads. It just depends on what we have going on outside of
Hmm.
our practice sometimes.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I also feel that it is a level of professionalism to during phone
Absolutely.
calls within or emails. I'm an email and text person.
That's right.
Yeah, because I don't have time to get on the
Like,
phone.
put yourself in the client's shoes. Would you expect a phone call or response? Because I would, right?
Exactly. And we always have to. And again, just think about that person who's reaching out maybe for the first time for therapy.
Yes.
We know how hard it is for that client to pick up that phone
Yes.
and actually call someone before hanging up. And
Right.
then you didn't return their call. That's
Right.
horrible, but it
That
happens.
is. That is. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah, it happens. The first step is reaching out, and it's the hardest step for clients to do. So, but
They
again,
can,
well,
they're admitting, hey, I need some help, right?
absolutely.
And that's hard.
Absolutely. It's hard for them. I get it. It's hard for them. Any words of encouragement, especially to anyone, whether they're a therapist or just anyone in general, who is thinking about leaving that job and going into private practice or becoming an entrepreneur like we have and starting their own business? Any words of encouragement for anyone?
Well, I would say absolutely. If it's something that you've been considering and has really been on your heart to do for a long time, start taking small steps if you don't feel like you're absolutely ready, and maybe seek support from people that are already in the position that you would like to be in so that they can give you advice or resources, but definitely don't continue to wait if you feel like, hey, where I am at right now is not where I want to be a year from now or 6 months from now. Take steps, because I think it's important, one, for your mental health and work life balance, but there's nothing like regretting not having done something or wishing you had done something different sooner, right? So I don't think any of us enjoy that feeling. So start taking small steps today if you can, you know, and always, take care of yourself. If you're not a therapist, you have a different job, whatever you do, remember to take care of yourself, even if it's something small, can
So
be, I don't know, buying your favorite ice cream or something, something small, right? And take time to check in with yourself. Are you doing okay?
absolutely. I agree. I agree 110%. We don't want to live with regrets. That's the
Mm.
first thing. We don't want to live with regrets. Life is about taking risks and about taking chances, and just know that the reward is so much greater. But I love
Mhm.
what you said about finding someone to mentor you,
Mhm.
or you take that plunge if you're the kind of person who is
Yeah.
so afraid, so anxious about it, and
Right.
learn everything that you can. And then you make that
Yeah.
decision to cut ties. Because
Yeah.
once you do, you'll see on the other side. Yeah, it's actually amazing. It is
Yeah.
really an amazing place to be. But you know, like you, I had to go through those kind of things as well. We all have to, right? No one wakes up and just do it right away.
That's
We all
right.
have to, and we learn and we learn. And we had mentors, and we had people that we
Mhm,
asked and we reach out to, and they
mhm.
gave us great advice. And we researched, and then we
Yeah,
felt ready to take that plunge.
yeah.
Any last minute things, like I said, any to our guests before we wrap up?
Just be well. Be well. That would be, my parting words.
Love it. Be well. Be well. Take care of yourself and be well. Put yourself first. Self-care is everything. I love that you're an advocate, just like I am, Miss Jessica, because it really is everything. Guys, we are going to wrap up the show. Jessica, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your personal journey, taking that plunge from a traditional job to taking that chance and becoming in her own private practice. We'll definitely have your website and your description in the description box, any links, any emails, anything that you want clients to have or anyone to have that they can reach out to you. I'll definitely get that information from you and have it in the description box for you. Is that all right?
That sounds good.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again for being here. Thanks again for spending some time with us. Guys, if you have not already subscribed and liked this channel, please go ahead and do so. I just want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Have an amazing day. See you soon.